Yes, and I tell you, welcome, Diaspora Talk on this Friday is the 12th day of April. A historic day in our country, Liberia's history. As you know, wherever you find yourself, wherever you are in Liberia. You are here in the diaspora, here in Minnesota, from where we sit and bring you this program. I'd like to say welcome to a brand new edition of the program, Diaspora Talk. It's a special edition looking back at this day. Some years ago, what happened on April 12th. We will be looking into that. My name is Cyrus McGee. My colleague Nathan Charles is also joining. But let's roll this particular Diaspora Talk jingle. We will be back and we will take on from there. We have somebody very special with us in studio today. A very special person is joining us to look at the historic April 12th. Don't go away. We'll be right back in a jiffy.
When the issues of Liberia hit the news,
what is it that we, the Liberian people, want?
the Liberian communities in the diasporas are not left out. That's why Diaspora Talk is back on your screens on KMTV.
In fact, the United Party is not cohesive.
Be it social, political, economic, and other issues affecting Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
I did not expect to even make it to Hollywood.
Join Cyrus McGee and Nathan Charles every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on KMTV, Facebook, and YouTube.
I want to be arrested in the midst of my people.
As they discuss the issues blending the voices from Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
The Liberian Business Association in the diaspora should be used as a vehicle for economic development in Liberia because no country can develop without a diaspora impact.
For sponsorship, call cell numbers 612-806-5896, 816-433-3979, or better still, email us at usakmtv@gmail.com. Diaspora Talk. Don't miss out.
And I tell you, don't miss out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on KMTV Creative Minds Television. We are everywhere. That's why we are here on this 12th day of April 2024. And from the studio here in Brooklyn Center, I'm here sitting pretty tight with a special guest who we will introduce very shortly. But let me welcome my colleague, Nathan Charles. Nathan, welcome to it. It's good to have you. The power of technology got us coming together from different spaces right here in the same, office space of KMTV USA. Welcome and happy Friday to you.
It's indeed a happy Friday and a time to remember what happened 30 or some years ago on April 12th. The outcome of the April 12th situation resulted in what it is today in our country, Liberia. So it is indeed happy and sad. Frenchmen call that concert, not good, not bad.
But yet it's still, we can live history. We've read a lot about it. Some of us were not around when this happened, that brought Liberia to where it is today. There are a couple of things happening this weekend. We will be talking about the Winfred Russell campaign as well. He's here in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, former city council member of the city of Brooklyn Park. Minnesota is the home of, we say, 40,000 strong Liberian community. So what can we do to make sure we have a seat at the table? We'll also be talking about that. But what's happening in Liberia? There are a couple of issues. Nathan, I know you want to run down on the week. The major issue that made news in Liberia during the week, just before we welcome and introduce our guest.
As we speak currently, there is a fire disaster in West Point. People are there homeless in the West Point. Other local media are reporting that, West Point is engulfed with zinc homes. So when fire engulfed that area, definitely it is spreading across that community. We hope that our fire service will intervene quickly. As you know, members of the National Legislature signed the resolution for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code. It is indeed a big discussion in Liberia, what are lawmakers saying, and those who were harmed as a result of war and economic crimes in Liberia, what are they saying? Alan and others who supported persecution and justice in Liberia are also in the country, including the U.S. government has commended the National Legislature for taking up the step to institute the War and Economic Crimes Code. As usual, Rieke Koluba is on his event with President Joseph Human Boka, this time around involving an underage girl who he was seeing and pictures on social media. We'll also be looking at that, but his colleagues are calling him to order. They want to prosecute him or to invite him for questioning over his outburst on President Joseph Boakai. A few days ago, Muslims celebrated Eid, the end of this fast and prayer in around the world, praying and fasting for peace and stability in Liberia. And in Nema County on Sunday, it was sad, Cyrus. A lady hen was chopped off by her neighbor only because she passed through his vicinity. And he's currently undergoing an investigation in Nema County. These are some of the stuff we've been looking at. As you know, normally the budget is being discussed.
It's been discussed.
Confirmation hearings.
Yeah, confirmation hearings continue. And in the first over 90 days or so of Joseph Boakai's administration, all we see is appointment. There are a couple of issues surrounding the executive mansion, the office of the presidency, what are people names, 2-3 persons receiving, appointment letter or nomination letters, 2-3 persons appearing at ministries and agencies, with their names and letters. These are things that have been serious challenges of the Boakai's administration. We hope that, they can pick up from there, because the rescue team, they kind of promised Liberians that in the first 100 days, his major thing on the campaign, no car will be stuck in anywhere across Liberia. With this happen, we are etching on to the 100 days of the president. What are some of those things? We understand that there are plans. We already see some quick fix, to some of those issues. But our eyes are open, and as the media, we cannot keep being quiet. We'll not remain supine. We have to speak on the issues. When they are good, we will commend President Boakai and his team. When there are things that are affecting the Liberian people, we'll also flag those issues. But today, we want to keep the discussion to the historic April 12, 1980, the issue of the War and Economic Crimes Court, the TRC, and one person we are privileged to have with us in studio. I know many of the media entities across Liberia are like, if you can get her, it's not an easy thing. Reverend Dr. Councillor Pearl Brown-Boo, a signee of the 1986 Constitution, and she worked on the Constitution just 6 years after the 1980 coup of that we are observing today. She represented Massarado County. She's an advocate. She's a former she's an eminent African woman, former Women Wing chair of the True Wing Party. She was with the Unity Party, former Situation Room member. So she has a lot. And of all, she's a former member of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, one of the commissioners who had a dissenting opinion from the TRC, but they say a part of a whole is a whole. So we still hold Councillor Boo as one of those who worked on the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. She's a former chairman of the Grievance and Ethics Committee of the Supreme Court of Liberia, first elected national chair of the Women Wing of the True Wing Party, like I said earlier on. So Councillor Boo holds a lot of portfolios, and it's a pleasure having you here with us on this wonderful, wonderful Friday, Councillor. We are happy to see you here in Minnesota.
I'm grateful to be with you, Cyrus and Nathan, and the people of Liberia, and those listening to us as I'm still alive and in your studio in Minnesota. Thanks for the privilege 44 years ago to still be alive after April 12, 1980. I was then serving as the first elected national chairman of the women movement, women wing of the True Wing Party of Liberia that was established 1870. I was the first elected national chairman of the women wing, and Dave Garnett was the first elected national chairman of the youth wing that honored the standard bearership of the late Reverend Dr. William Richard Tolbert. That those two branches of the partisans of the True Wing Party were established, that precious jewels to bring in the youth, because he knew one day the generation for Liberia would be spearheaded by them. I was 4 months shy of my 29th birthday and it been 44 years ago. Now I'm a senior citizen, and I believe I have paid my dues to society. And listening to the TRC report when Dr. Burman family went before us, if they have not edited what the report was, like I can say what I'm seeing on video, many of the TRC reports, those appearing, some have been reducted.
Well,
he said that I was number 5 to go on the poll with that made up 30 men that went on the poll on the 22nd of April 1980 because of my position. And I said, thank God I live to tell the story. And I can say, thank God I've paid my dues. Now I'm a senior citizen. I'm former, but not finished.
Councilor Pearl Bramble right there for you. And little you just find it. And I would tell people that Councilor Boo's company is never a dull moment. You always have a great interaction. But how do you feel being in Minnesota? Is it your first time in Minnesota in a long time, or you've been back and forth here?
You know, in the first place, it will surprise the audience that I just arrived in Minnesota on yesterday, just upon your invitation to be here. No, I was here in Minnesota, like many who talking now and don't know, the presentation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission from January 22nd, 2006, to the date we presented our report, June 30, 2009. We went all over the world, over other places, and it was live. We were in Minnesota. The Minnesota human rights advocates, I don't know what they call themselves now, with some white people, a group, they sponsor. But we had at that time, Councilor Attorney Kofi Woods. He was the chairman of the board of the Minnesota Human Rights Advocate. And we had a session, your TRC hearing in Minnesota. And it was historic. It was historic because at the hearings that were live, we had the former, and I say legitimate, vice president of Liberia, Reverend Benedict Warner, who was the vice president then when the late President William Aratoba was killed in 1980. He appeared as a witness before the TRC. We had the daughter of the late Dr. William Aratoba, Dr. Wilhelmina Toba Holler appearing. I recall we had also the Undersecretary, Assistant Secretary of State of the United States of America then, Ambassador Cohen, Cohen, Herman Cohen. He appeared before us among other people who appeared.
So it was a great
time because I recall asking him that question. I said, Secretary Cohen, I read the book by the late president's wife, Victoria Toba, Lift Him Up. That's what her book. And in that book, I read that on that fateful night, April 12, 1980, she was upstairs and some of the men with gloves, color was not of Negro descent. And they asked the question, I even tried to put my series there, are you Mrs. Talbert? I asked the question, I said, in view of that, there were rumors I want to ask you, are you aware whether or not your government played a role in the assassination of our president, Dr. William Richard Tauber, who was then president of the Organization of African Unity and the first Black president of the Baptist World Alliance? His response were, he was not aware. Thank you.
So that's how much you remember Minnesota. I think you've had a great hospitality since you arrived.
Very much. I just came one yesterday and last night. I had chicken, I had chicken, I had thing, and for a little while, I even had my wine.
So it was a good time. Yeah. So let's roll it out. I know you want to.
I also 2003 July came here for the Cllr Alumni Association in the United States and Canada. And I served as the guest speaker, being the first elected president of the Cllr Alumni Association in the United States. And then we had 400 members who came. And the late A.B. Johnson was then president of the Cllr Alumni Association. And they invited me to speak. And I lived with Moise Hayes, who was then married to Wesley Johnson, the former vice president, under Judy Bryant.
Oh, okay. So that's a great task with Minnesota. So you feel at home already. So Nita, I know you want to come in. Let's roll it out. The entire April 12, you already started on the historic note. And we know you are a person with wealth of knowledge. You were around by then. But Nathan, let's keep the ball rolling with you.
So basically from Wikipedia, I was reading, it says the 1980 Liberian coup d'etat happened on April 12, 1980, as Councillor Pierre Bramble said, when President William Talbot was overthrown and murdered in a violent coup. The coup was staged by an indigenous Liberian factor of the Armed Forces of Liberia, the AFL, under the command of Master Sergeant Samuel Doe. Following the period of transition, Doe ruled Liberia throughout the 1980s until his murder in 1990 during the first Liberian Civil War. Now, some of the outcome of what we experience today from that, it was the first time for the Civil War to happen in Liberia. The coup in 1980 was the first time for Liberian Civil War to begin, and that has resulted into a coup. The councillor said 13 men was murdered on the pool, and now being a founding member in Liberia, you witness all of these things. What different are you seeing, or are we still having these same signs of what happened that led to the coup in Liberia? Are we going back, or are we progressing?
To tell you the truth, we're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. Wow. And sometimes I wonder whether we are not doing the electric slide, which I like to dance. But I can say to you all, the way Liberia was founded, prior to this civil war that we had considered civil war, there were many wars between the indigenous. We had my book, Dr. Melvin Mason book that he talked about. There were about 22 wars, civil wars. The Grebo War, the Sastan War, the Cllr War that lasted for 7 years, all sorts of wars. And the people had it for land business, cattle business, all sorts of things. There were many wars that people had to come down. You already know about when the guy said, having sold your country and accepted payment, you must take the consequences. Let the Americans have the land, or else I shall come down to the coast and deal with you as I did old King George on my visit to the coast. So these people were fighting, the indigenous people were fighting each other with 30 and 50, 60 tribes Well, if I says they don't call people American-Liberian, you could make it 17 tribes. And they were fighting each other. So, and why you call you say indigenous, you know what? This land was founded because everybody, that's why I love the motto of liberty brought us here, because everyone who came here, most of the people who came here, they came from fighting other places, Ghana, Songhay, Mali, the kingdoms of those days. They came because of the weather. They came nomad, looking for shelter, for food, and running from paying taxes, like other stuff. The crown people, like what they said, I said the crown people were most of them the last to come over here from Grand Chile through Ivory Coast.
So what Nathan was balancing is that those things that cause, because you talked about a couple of wars before
yes,
this. Now the semblance of what happened that caused us to where we are today, are we still seeing them into this Liberia?
And what got to me, what it is now, we say thanks for our sovereignty. In fact, when you were talking about indigenous, as far back as 1462, when Pedro de Central came, the Spanish people, you had the Spanish people coming, the Germans coming, everybody coming, even before they divided Africa to the Berlin Conference. 1462, when the Portuguese came here, he met the Dey, the Golas, and the Mambans. So you can trace what you want to talk about history and people talking indigenous, we the indigenous. You ask them, where your grandma need? Where your grandpa need? They didn't even know their names. They didn't know when they came here. They were born here, but you had to come from somewhere. So those were the original people, because why? Those people, the coastland, they came by the Atlantic Ocean. The ship were looking for gold, alligator pepper, and their own people, what got to me, they were selling their own people and put them on where you see the J.J. Rao monument. I can't. You see under that enclave. That's why they used to come hide the people, get them, hide them there, waiting for ship, because you didn't have telephone. You had to wait. When the ship come, put the people under there. So there's myth. We have a lot of myth, and that's what we need to educate our people. They say the cocoa bush, and they used to hide those people under there. So the society says, society, don't go to the society, they will kill you. The people we spoke in parables, just like the Bible. When Jesus came, most of what is said in our Bible, they had to speak in parables because there were persecution. So that's why, you see, one of my last degrees, I got it at age 67, theology. I really wanted to understand the Bible, to know what it is. So I took up exegesis. That way you can exegete what the word means there. You really think that Ezekiel took up booms. You look at the political, the social, the economic condition of the times that we were in.
And are we still experiencing those situations?
We are still experiencing it right now, because why? Education, most of the people now are not educated, and everybody a politician. Now y'all can get facts. Just how this America here, when they made the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the black man was considered 3/4 of a man, not even a pure human being. So it just like that, our constitution, we have evolved. And some things in our constitution, now they can look back and say, yes, we see why those people put in our place, in our thing there. Certain time, they say to vote. They say why you should vote. It was not like you were looking down on us indigenous. The indigenous people were there 1847. They were there to everything. But they wanted to show responsibility and maturity in what you will do, and you will decide for the country, the God they were serving, and yourself. So they say if you must have property, pay tax, even hot tax. So you pay your own house, you got hot tax, and you will be responsible when something can you think you will want to go take fire to burn the town because you got your house there, you hot there, and your children there. So now it open to policy, open for all freedom of expression. Everybody do politics now. So those who don't know read the law, they just come burn people's houses, insult the leaders, say anything here because you talk about freedom. But we put in the Constitution freedom, but you must be responsible for what you say. So this thing here, this our country, that the taxpayer money. When you pay tax, you even pay tax for the market and you set it on the street, the sidewalk that we had, you set it there, say to educate your children, you pay taxes, you register, you come there. So what taxes you pay for government to pay the other people to bring light to fix the place infrastructure? So we going 2 steps in front, 1 step behind. But I called, listen, oh man, I called. I was just 29 years old. When this
coup took place.
When the coup took place, you see Turbo or chairs. Now, I'm 73, a senior citizen, but I paid my dues because although I had to hide, in hiding, they said, let a woman come who went to Turbo to say he can rule the country, you bring battalion of women to help to rule.
You're talking about 1980. So if you had to drill us through a historical, moment, that day of 1980, and just for the education of the public, I was not around, so I know nothing about that. But that particular day, April 12th, 1980, Councillor Pearl Bramble, 29 years old at the time.
Yes.
What can your memory?
4 months less, I would have been 29.
Okay, walking down memory lane at this age, over 70.
Yeah.
What can you remember about that day?
I tell you very well, President Turbo was then attached to the OAU, Organization of African Unity. He was to go to Zimbabwe for the independence of Zimbabwe. But because he also served as president of the Liberia Baptist Missionary and Education Convention, we had our convention, I believe it was then 100 years, if I'm not mistaken, because we had a choir, just a choir, the choir was 100 years old, under the leadership of Brother T.E.T.
Timothy Thomas.
Timothy, I don't know what age you carry, but me and you were born the same year. You were born in May and I was born in August. We started school together. 100 voice choir that his God business, his church business, and the country was even more than family. He put family even after God, this country here, a family was turned. He stayed. Instead of being there, he was supposed to go there because I know I had just gone to see him that Wednesday. And y'all talk about country Congo. Who made me? It was the indigenous women of Liberia. Mami Bearle, Titi Grepo, Mami Baker, Susana Sisi, and Sifana Sisi. They the one I had never gone close to Toba. Mami Bearle. And her daughter was the former minister of agriculture, and who married to the Wiles man. That was her daughter. She took me, I had a problem and an issue with the Secretary General of the 2-week party. The office he gave me, Buya, the late Emmanuel Buya, was the coordinator for the 2-week party then. So we shared, you see, young people, Buya too are in his late 20s, maybe he could have been 30, 1 year older than me or so. We shared the same office at the E.J. Roy building. I didn't have car and utensil stuff, whatever it was. And the late Clarence Simpson was the Secretary General then. And he said something to me when I asked him about certain things that I felt insulting. So, but we knew that we were trained, constituted authorities, senior authority, you don't disrespect them. And I was a married woman. I was then married to the late former Chief Justice James of the Supreme Court, James Garrison Boo. But at that time, he has there been elected as a representative.
And was there any...
So listen now, when you ask me, I'm finishing that question now. So I didn't like it. So I said, I told Mommy Bear over there, I said, I can't answer the man up. I won't go report him to the president. And she took me. Then I was driving my Ford Granada PGB. And Mommy Bear drove from Monrovia to Bento. And when we got there, the president was living in that little small house there. And they said I couldn't see the president because he was then speaking with Eden Kojo, who was the secretary, I think, of General the OAU. So I stopped to the late Frank Tauber house across there waiting. And Frank Tauber told me certain things, how the 2-week party was annoyed with me because he was a frank person. He said, you know, this Charlie B. Sherman, and you want history? He was ambitious, you know, he wanted to be president. So the 2-week party was watching him, never wanted him to get way up in that line. He said, I had an accident and I was in Germany. And they sent me a cable. Those times were not all this stuff, your cable, to say that you, Per Boo, had nominated Charlie B. Sherman to be second vice national chairman of the 2-week party. He said, can you imagine they sent me that telegram and I didn't like it. Say unanimous. We had the real history. We had, although it was supposed to come from Kitma, it was supposed to be Goskin, who has served as former Minister of Education. He said, and they say, you just got up there from the back straight to the podium, nominated him by acclamation. Now we got him there. I said, well, I know that people asked me because they had a convention in Bassa. That is 1979 convention. And that committee with Emmanuel Shaw, Mohammed Rue Jones, young people, they put it on the committee. And those people read some resolution for rare change in the 2-week party.
And you actually made that nomination?
No, I made a nomination because I went with my husband. Everybody who knew, he always took me along with him. He was a delegate from that district where Solomon George,
the West Point area.
Yeah, that West Point district, I think it was 7 because
district number 7.
Who law firm office there he was. So he was from that era. So they elected delegates to go. So you're talking about one man. The people, that's why I know politics now. What you see is the tip of the iceberg that you're seeing out here where you see. But what honor it? What made it there? You don't know everything they didn't talk. Like you're talking everything and taking paper from honor your leaders for the public to know we didn't do it. They do what they do when they come outside. Mom, what's the word? You shut your mouth until you see implementation. And that has been my credo, deeds, but not words. But more than that, I learn to play the game. I can learn the rule. But when I don't know the agenda, I don't get involved, irrespective of money or whatever it is. Because most time, especially in what I see now going on in our country, there's always an agenda, hidden agenda. So to jump in these things, you think you can play the game to be a player, but You don't know their genders, but let's go forward. So when they got ready for the election, they said only delegates should
Vote.
All other people go outside. So that meant I had to go outside. But they had a women group, the Liberian Federation of Women.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who come in now, like their women group, like women group, we had a Liberian Federation of Women that was headed by Elizabeth Collins, one of the 2 senators of Liberia since Todman gave suffrage to Liberian women because he promised them if they made him president. And one of the things we have had Liberia women, we have had only 2 women senators. Like in the history, Elizabeth Collins from Bond County and Catherine Cummings from Maryland County. Let me ask you now, how many women since then do we have as senators?
Since then.
Tell me now.
Since then, a lot.
Yeah,
So,
the same old 2.
So we had Senator Doe Sharif, Hannah Brand.
That time, well, they see they always been 2.
They always been 2 in the Senate.
Okay, we had Grace Manor who became pro temp and somebody else that time. Then we had Genevieve Doe Sharif and Hannah Brand and the other lady that are good the other
lady from Moserata. I just can get her name.
Yeah. So after they good, then you have when Hannah Brand died. That's although our Unity Party leader and for Unity Party, and let me let y'all know now. Some of y'all who come in and thinking your journey, why you're the rare people who know the history and know about no parties, you're leaving there out. I was the acting national chairman of the women wing of Unity Party 2004 and 2005 until we went to Nima for the national election. I was a member of the executive committee, and after that election, I became the coordinator for the movement for the promotion of Ellie and Joseph Boyka for president or vice president. Everywhere, Ellie went from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock in the evening. All the counties.
You were on there.
Faustina Merchant was, I think she was the chairman, and this guy now, we had a whole group. We follow her with it in the back of the truck, singing, because you know what? Our culture, this is what I say, I hope they really establish our culture and tourism because we got folklores, we have history.
We'll come to that course. Let's wrap up with this whole April 12th day.
But we're talking now. April 12th.
The whole April 12th. Because people want to understand.
When
on that morning of April 12th.
Okay, what
was Liberia like? Were there signs around the country that something was happening?
I said Toba was here, he should have better the country, but he went to a concert that he had 100 voices choir. And if you read his book, his book written by his late daughter, Christine Norma, his book, Time for Change. Time for Change. You get Toba's speeches and that speech in there. The way he got up, he talked. If we never meet again at his Sunday close, he gave his own eulogy.
Before he died.
That night, April 11 now, because 12 start from 12 o'clock, it become the 12th. Because when they kill him after 12, right up at 1 to 2.
Wow.
So they left for 11 o'clock. They sang song, his statement, if we never meet again, and everything is eulogy to say he gave it. So they went home. Normally, Toba sleeps in Bento to that little house, I tell you. But the security detour him, said to go sleep to the mansion because they have planned stuff. And they told him to go sleep to the mansion. And he went to the mansion. When he went to the mansion to show you how it was so stuff, he was still in his clothes. That he had just got up there with his wife them, and that it was not good. 30 minutes when he got up there, he heard a knock on the door. Say, who's this? But he prayed.
According to the story.
Yes, yeah. He lied down, prayed with his wife. He knocked on the door, he opened the door. They came in. So straight, when you see old people here, they kill a man. Then the wife there in her nightgown with the late children there. Are you Mrs. Starbird? The hand in her book lift him up there. Don't say, were you there? I tell you, go read a book.
According to her account.
And with her hands, then she said yes. Then before those other people who claim me to kill Torbo start coming up, they were in a Osa.
And where were you on that day but then?
Okay, on that date, I did not go to the Baptist program because I was living in Pinsville and I was preparing my speech. Preparing my speech because April 12, 1980, at 12 o'clock, midday, Zion Grove Baptist Church, a Ball Blue Church there.
He said Bob Blue, who you talking about?
DJ Blue.
Okay,
yeah,
Blue.
Yeah, he could have been for 3 or 4, 5-year-old. So I actually did the church because we say Zion Grove, people won't know, or we'll put some title, some person behind it. Zion Grove Baptist Church. I was preparing my speech, the 2-week party. The citizens of Broadville that was founded 1870. Who arrived, you don't say talk, but I like history. Who arrived, left Savannah, Georgia, Washington through Virginia on the Concunda, Cllr, October. And they arrived December 20 at Providence Island. They stayed on Providence Island and witnessed the inauguration of the first Black president, Edwin James Roy. January. Then they marched, they went 9 miles walking. Walking the St. Paul River right bank. 9 miles, and they founded Broadville.
Your own hometown.
My hometown. At that time, the inhabitants there were from the Cllr and Mama tribe. Those were the original people of Broadway.
And which of those tribes you attached to?
And I'm attached to first from the my grandfather Amos E. Brown was on that ship. He was 16 years old. He came from Savannah, Georgia. He went with his two aunties, and went to Savannah, Georgia, and he met my dear Cllr 5 grandmother, Lillian Baxter, and he married her. So I'm one of those who ancestor was sold by the indigenous who came here, suffered, went back, and married those who they met there from the Cllr, the original tribe on the sea coast. And my father, Jerry Brown, was born 1914. You who know history, you know that was the World War I, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's how I was born.
So you
I'm one of those. I'm a bat. I'm an animal, and I'm a bird. So anywhere you put me, I know. So you out there, tell me, I defy you now. And that ship was sponsored by the Brewers, Brewers. That's why they named it. First, it was a settlement, Brewerville.
And now it's
Ville means town. Now it's a city. 1970, it became a city. Tottenham was there. And I was a little young, what you call a little pissed girl. We were there.
So after the coup,
listen now. My dear, you asked me to write my speech. So I didn't go. That morning by 8 o'clock, I got up. The late Jenkins Peel, he was then serving, I think GKP was serving as Minister of Labor. I think he had been to information too. So he called my husband, that was his best friend. He said, James, he said, don't go in town. Talk about Ben Kill. He said, who? He Ben Kill. Say, by who? By one door. Say, who? Say, door. Now, when we hear the need door, we know that could need. And you understand? We just think that some door now from Kuta, so we need put it to this thing. So they had announced it over the air, you know. So we didn't go in time again. We start calling. I call Christine Normal. I call Sadie Tishi. We start trying to liaise with other people. Yes. By 12 o'clock, all the telephone, nobody, we could hear from nobody again. Round up at 3 o'clock, sitting there, wondering what to do with my 1, 2, 3. I had 3 children then. By my 3 children by my first marriage.
Okay.
One was born 1972, one was born 73, one was born 75. So you can check.
Back to back, us.
Yeah, but I was young now. That time they didn't teach us about all that stuff there. We didn't know, you know. So anyway, thinking what to do. When we look, we saw a soldier coming in the yard. You know, we have fence with gate. Coming in the yard, he had a gun. Just keep walking to us. I said, my friend, hello. He said, yeah. I said, oh, thanks for coming. But you see, I was young. I had a ring in my nose here and my hair low cut. But I was on the news every time. The new Pearl Brown Boo. You know, they thought I was old lady. I have my ring in my nose.
Is that now that we have Facebook? Everybody know who Pearl Brown Boo are gonna be.
Pearl Brown Boo. They know me by my name and my voice. So y'all see the face now. So I said, oh, my friend, thanks for coming, man. He said, thank you. I said, want to go somewhere? Can you carry us? He said, okay, where you want to go? I said, want to go Broadway to show you the even know who's or who. But my car was big. I went and traded it for a Honda from the workers that were living behind there. Even we traded a car. My husband got to the wheel or the Honda, the soldier in the front. I sat there with my 3 children in my lap to the back, going. I said the place was quiet.
Monrovia quiet.
Real quiet. But that's why when we got to Loki Town, but when we got to Loki Town, we saw this, heard a siren. So we stopped, and everybody was doing like this. And our door passing, but there was a pickup behind door. And I would never forget Cllr Smith, Councillor Cllr Smith, or in that pickup. He had his hair, everybody hair up. Hear me here now, open his door, have my hand up like this. So, we for our hand up, going up, rejoicing. There we got to Broadway, past the checkpoint, and went in my yard. My mother standing up there, because everybody just like me was her relative. But she saw me. She was so happy. My name is Fatu to them. So when you call me Cousin Pearl, then I know y'all.
You know them from somewhere.
News people. But when somebody call me Fatu, you got to come from Broadway or relative or knew me from small.
So I'll start calling you Fatu now.
I cry. You better call me Cousin Pearl. I knew you from King's 2000 to 2030. Y'all used to come there, eat my money up. So that's how I know. So anyway, so she saw it, man. Oh, Fatu, cause thank you. Oh, how you come here? I said, Ma, shut up, shut up, shut your mouth. Talk the rare Congo quick way. So we gave the man some money. You know what? I thank him, parked the car, and he went back with his soldier. He gone a car and went back, but he didn't know who.
And you made it safe through Monrovia onto Broadway.
Safe through Monrovia. Then I said to my husband, because why? My first degree was political science. I graduated from LU. University of Liberia. But y'all who might look and say she lying because we see her name Pearl Brown or Purple. My name then was Pearl Brown Kamara because that was I had married and I was the wife of now former Ambassador Jaja Kamara.
All right. So your first husband that was.
Yeah, so don't come start looking y'all to dig behind people to say she lied, she going to LU. I got a yearbook.
Pearl Brown Kamara.
Pearl Brown Kamara.
So Neto is just smiling. Neto is also a product of the UL. So he probably will check the
yearbook. And not only that, 1969, when I went there, I was the cheerleader or the cheering squad for LU. And then those days, to show you how I was Coca-Cola shaped, those those short dresses where those cheerleader to wear.
Yeah,
that's what we were. Now, who were the cheerleader? Who were there? That time, 15 weeks was playing the kickball. Rosie Bryant, she was on the cheerleading squad. Emma Pretty Honey, now Vincent, the late Rory Murray, Rosie Bryant wife. We were the young girls who were the cheerleaders.
Oh, wow.
We're doing with cut it up, my friend.
Is it strange that those things are not happening in Liberia again nowadays? Cheerleaders and all of that?
Well, I can see us singing from day morning to evening weeks. The late Rushford Weeks was the president. Can see me from morning to night singing. Cut it on. Who are they? Nothing but greenhorn coming out of the bush. Beat them up, whip them up. We can beat cut it on any old time. Oh, yes.
I don't think Glendy would like to see this one. Glendy is a cut it on woman.
Oh, we still whip them. Okay. Anyway, let's balance. I said to my father, you cannot keep us here because I brought this in to say, I was a student of politics, my first degree, political science and sociology. And I have read Machiavelli, the Prince. The people who make you
can break you.
They can break you. So they were your leaders. Y'all always know the people who making y'all. Be careful with them. Just how they made you, they can break you. So I said to they were calling on the radio them. All 2 week party officials and government officials should report to the mansion for their safety. That was what on the radio from that morning. Then my husband was just elected national member of the House of Representatives from that district. I was national chairman of the women wing. He said, Pearl, I said, Jim, this is a revolution. I said, those who to the top that they have brought down, and those who down will be up. I said it's a revolution, and the only thing for this revolution to survive, they will have to get rid of the people who are to the top, because if they don't, and these people have connection and they gather and come back, of course they will have to kill these people. I said I learned that in school, so I'm not going to report myself for no safety. Lord, help them to forget my name. That's the prayer I pray. And my father took me to the farm because he had his own farm. That's why I said I got to the stage now. I can't trust people. To his own farm, London, right? That's why they know the thing. A Congo woman, I know I got the color. London, his farm past Ricks. To Ye and Gomo. He went in the car, he said, yeah, Komo, yeah, your baby Fatu abroad. They need me Fatu. Because when I was 3 months old, he had to run me to that same farm for the night day to escort why he had to take me there. He said, I brought your baby Fatu. She big woman in the party to looking for them. Yeah, and Komo, they took me, were in a place just sitting down, listening to
the radio.
When I look, Koto Jack him to me, Fatu, come. Fatu, cousin Jimmy, come. So we got up, we start walking with the people, with him. He carried me to the banana bush. Drata in the banana thing there. Say, sit down, sit down. So we sat down in our drop banana thing. The ants were pointing me up, just sit it down. Then he came back. He said, come after 30 minutes. He said, come. I said, what happened? He said, there's some boys, you didn't hear the gun shooting. Some of those Fresca boys came and said, oh, and they say, your man high, no Congo people. We saw Jared Brown, and I see people very happy rather than hate on. We saw Jared Brown bringing Congo people here. That just had just now the other day called Chessie, got a poor reward farm there. And you know, that just had, we saw them, Chessie coming to high, and the people called them that damn lie. Chessie never key up to that side. So then he took us, carried us in the room. That bamboo bed I lie on. He took us in the room, locked the door, locked us up, and those people sat outside with just the radio station, with the radio playing. I could hear right up at 6:30. They have called the chairman of the 2-week party, Reginald Townsend, in the mango behind his house. And the late Reginald Townsend had just come the day before from Grand Gide. You understand? He was up in Grand Gide, had just arrived. Then when we look at it, we heard they start calling in the names of the different people who they had arrested. So, you know, it's something about me. You know, I don't take no nonsense. It looked like I slept that night. The next morning, I called Zemweku. I said, Zemweku, can't carry me back. Go in town, tell my pa can't carry me. I can't stay in here locked up like that. And my father came and took me and my husband, Councillor James Boo, to our house in Broadway. His 5-bedroom house that he built. Then he had 5 girls and 1 boy. My last sister had not been born. I'll give you your history because he said, I got my 5 daughters, I got 5 rooms. When they can't stay with no man put them up, they got room that they can come back to. So I just went to one of my rooms that I was child in, and we stayed in our room to show you how Liberian people can lie. And I'm saying this to y'all. Not everything y'all hear, people tell y'all that look like a true. I was never raped. I was never put in jail. I tell you how it was. My mom, we set it there. My sister Edna, she was working GSA, they late. They would go in town. The same day, I in London, the next day I come home, they had come say, oh, we saw her running around BTC, just in her honor clothes. You call it the panties. And you know that time she had a ass ship, but and she liked to talk. They had her running. We saw her running. They raped her. But worse than that, and the place was closed, and that everybody coming to visit my mom.
See what's going on.
Prep, and she was the leader of the prep, and her friends then coming. They can't ask questions for coming because they didn't hear no lies. My sister, they will only open that door to put our food to the door, to the dog. That's when I got fat. I was something like 140 pounds.
Oh.
Now you see how fat I am. So they put the food there, we eat it. Yeah, oh, who even come outside? I know how we used to take whatever in the night walk, but I can't remember that. Then my sister came one day, Edna. She said, and they have bus, you know, the Broadway people in the bus. She said, Fatu were on the bus. And I will call her, and I think he did now. And he left here. She said, on the bus were coming, Reverend Butler, not Abraham Butler, but his son, not Abraham who died out, the other guy, but one Reverend Butler. He said we went, we the religious people went to the stockade. They allow us to go to the stockade to pray with the prisoners.
The post stockade that time.
Yeah, post stockade to the prisoners. He said, and when we were praying, we saw this lady. And she said she was Mother Brown's daughter. And we prayed for her. We prayed with her because, you know, now they know our true party woman. So my sister said, okay, on the bus for everybody. She said, next time when you go, tell her We happy to hear from Hoya and continue.
And you were on the bus.
Guess what?
You were on that bus?
What? You see, from April 12, 1980, that Sawyer who with a gun, we got traded our car and we keyed to Broadway to my parents' house and we went straight to Londroma. And April 11, we keyed back to my parents' house. I will tell you, I didn't leave other that place there. That the same day, Barker, Matthew, and Doe went to Freetown. His first visit out of the country was Freetown. So that after they finish killing the people, they maybe in May or June, that the first time to say for me to come outside. So the people line like that. Yeah, everybody coming to my mom. They can't ask questions. They can't even say pray. So we were in there and I was feeling bad. And man, the second time I saw my husband cry, the first time was 1978 when his father, the late Judge J. Everett Boo, died, 1978. But on April 22nd, the sky was dark. We were in Broadway. Then when we heard they shot the people, and we heard the names of the people, Cecil Dennis was my husband was legal counsel. So that's why when you say constitution, know the law. Legal counsel for the House of Representatives for 90 years. Y'all go by Act of Legislature 1958. They established legal counsel for the House of Representatives. Go look at what LCL revised.
And your husband,
see that.
And
for the was the first. And Cecil Dennis, the late, was legal counsel for the Senate. And y'all go look in the book. When the people talk like they're talking now, talk for making resolution, because in that time for resolution in law, now in the Constitution,
they used to write those.
They used to write the thing in the law and put it in the law book. That was you got a law. Codify. He stayed there for 90 years. Then 1975, he went to run his laws and they made him commissioner of immigration. Cecil Dennis. You hear? People who knew. He went to Stanford he graduated from Case Western Reserve. He went to Massachusetts School of Law. So let me tell you now, so the way who y'all put it there and who were there before. He went to Massachusetts School of Law. He graduated. And when they sent him to be legal counsel, they train you. When Ellie came back, she started assisting the young people, training them, enhancing them, sending them. But they want to get money, big house, loan, they take. He went to Cornell University and they graduate work in legal drafting. Then to Stanford University in Palo, California. He did graduate work in legislative drafting. Then he went to Sweden for 6 months where he and Cecil Dennis. You think people will write paper? Did you see the people that had their April 11 for something when they wrote letter for this TRC stuff? April 11 just came, and I think that was April 10 or April 8. So you think a letter will come signed from the House of Representatives?
Well, we are not going to jump the council. Let's
show you.
We are coming there. We are coming there. We're going to talk about everything a little bit. Yeah, I know Peter wants to come in, but that was a historical, walking down memory lane of this day.
And he cried. What I want to tell you, when he heard those names, I tell you had Cecil Dennis, who was a friend. What he did, Clarence Parker. He even stood in a wedding when the late Clarence Parker married Clarina Bright Parker. They are Clarina Bright now.
And they were all people that were arrested.
Oh, Cecil that arrested. That's how they finished putting the people to the pool.
Wow.
April 22nd, that's when they killed them. Shot them. That's the thing that what they call him. When my family say my name was number 5 on our list when they were making it.
You should have been on the pool.
Yeah. And you see, you know who shooting happened there? The King Man. The King Man was a bear from Basel. So he went in my place because says they were making their list. When they start calling the people by name, the first thing they call Regional Townsend Chairman, Richard Henry, speaker, start calling the people name there. As they call them to come out. Frank Tauber, President Pro Tem, come out. They were calling him already, talking. Then Johnny McLean, who was minister or
Minister of State.
No, Johnny McLean at time was Minister of Information. Because I work with Johnny McLean when I came 74 from Germany. You know, that was y'all sitting out talking worldwide. So he was short, very short. So what they call it, they said, man, you lay ball. Because he shot, you know. Lay ball, we call you move. They push you away. Because he was shot. Johnny McLean, he's still living now. He can tell the story. Why they call the protocol, the king man, and he was on the paper. He said, where you go? He said, if you call my speaker, Richard Henry, I go when you call the speaker, I gotta go with the speaker. That's how he went. And they put you on the poll. Y'all who from Pastor, all these things and don't know history, do not tell me I'm wrong. Because that time he was married to the Tottenham daughters. One of Tottenham oldest daughter, the woman was in Rhode Island then. And they had just gotten a green card to come now to the go pick up a thing to come on a plane to the airport here to get a green card. He went on a poll. So as Lisa man proposes, God disposes. So my husband cried because most of those people chasing Richard Henry, other people
his friends he knew well. So it's I mean it's been a lot since that particular moment changed Liberia at a larger extent, one would say. What do you think?
Before I gave my opinion, I want in this public manner to thank Samuel Jackson. And you know that Samuel Jackson who don't talk so much.
Uncle Sam.
Sam younger than me. I think Sam could be 25 years old, and that lad don't think he talking. He was with Barker Matthew, their group. So they put order there EJ. I think they went in there for March 25th. When to become president and chairman of the women wing, they didn't choose me. I was elected. Then we had 9 counties and 5 territories, or 6 territories, 9 counties. With the market women, each delegate was 22 delegates from each county. You have Marshall territory.
Uncle Sam Jackson.
Oh yes, per thanking him.
Yeah, what's up? How you doing?
Sam, I'm on the line, and I want to thank you.
You are live on KMTV Diaspora Talk. We are hosting Councillor Pearl Brown-Bull, giving a historic throwback of 1980 on this day, and she just wants to thank you. And I thought to have you listening live.
Yes, listen, I want to thank Sam Jackson because go next thing, because they had just come out of the stockade that day. And they were looking for all the two-week party people had explained her, you see. And I was running against Monella Johnson. She was the wife of the late Cobalt Johnson. I think he was chief of staff then. But I won her. She was running from Lofa County. And it was 22 delegates from each county.
I don't know whether he has a lot of time.
22 delegates. He will stay right on, listen to me.
Yeah. Let cousin talk.
If you had the time, we could send you the link to join us briefly, Uncle Sam.
Okay, but the people can hear he there talking to me.
And I don't have
okay, let's listen. He's listening.
All right. So I won her by even Lofa County, they sent Somo June, Cassidy, order them to talk to the Lofa women. But I had people like Esther Gwigwi, that Thompson Ma. I had Esther Hughes. I had those Lofa girls who went to school together. So I won every county, or except 11 from Lofa County. So when they had this election, even Olivia Shannon, they say, because our secret vote, say, let them stand up. And we stood up and we won. So she went running there to say, she chairman women went to a party to give me. And they say, Sam Jackson, they bought 25-year-old. He said, y'all lead that girl. She check out more. She steal nobody money. She do no corruption. So y'all leave her. So Sam Jackson saved me from he said the woman who talking, she should be there because her husband was chief of staff of the army. And Sam Jackson saved me, and Edwin Brooks, he was popular was man later there. He said, we know that like she jack her mouth, but she's naughty. Sam Jackson, that true or false?
True, ma, and thank you for recognizing me, Cousin Pearl. I love you so much, and let God bless you, and let us remember those who lost their lives on this day, and who lost their lives subsequently in other situations in the country. And may the souls and the souls of the faithfully departed rest in peace. And thank you very much, Pearl, for recognizing me, and God bless you. Saros,
yes, Uncle Sam. We'll find another time to have you on with us here on the Diaspora.
And I want to
live on Facebook now, right?
We are live on KMTV, the Diaspora Talk, on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, right. I'm gonna go check into it. Thank you so much.
KMTV, and I want to say to y'all who to be talking about Sam. Whatever Sam said is correct because he been there, he done that. We work among people who are competent. He learned. When you listen and you learn, then you can talk. So when he talk, the guy is educated. That's why good player don't pay for jersey. You see, on this day, I was invited. I didn't pay my ticket. My ticket was sent to me. And I came on a player in wheelchair because the people at airport too big, right? I'm coming from Atlanta. You got to go up, come to be here. And I can speak because fear nothing but do wrong. And I believe in a logo or the TWP, deeds and not words.
All right, Nathan, you listened to Councilor Pearl, and we were fortunate to have Uncle Sam Jackson on the line. And before you leave, you will tell the public why people call you Cousin Pearl, but we will come to that one. So, Nathan, I know you want to draw into April 12, 1980, all of the wars we've been through. Went through over 14 years of civil crisis, almost 20 years of unrest, not stable peace. But through it all, Councilor Pearl lived those moments, and we're happy to still have you around. A vast fountain of knowledge we know and we believe. But Nathan, let's hear you.
You know, as she was speaking, it brought back memories to me. My mother, who was a domestic worker with the late Florence Chinoway, narrated how they narrowly escaped death during the 1979 when the arrest riot happened. And sadly, the deputy minister for administration next to the late Florence Chino was also executed on that pole. So it just brought back memory how those who were killed. So if it has not been for Florence Chinoway today, indirectly, I would not have had education because my mother, who I consider who reared me, she was a domestic worker to Florence Chinoway, who through proceeds from her house on the SKD Boulevard is still there. That house was turned over to her as a domestic worker to send her kids to school. So if Florence Chinoway would have been executed, it means that I don't know where I'm going to be like today. So war has consequences, and they are indirect and direct consequences of our war. So imagine when Councilor was speaking, I was just reflecting. All what she's saying is it started to come back when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old. That story, that home, how Florence hid herself in that closet. It's just start coming back to memories. I'm like, war is not good. That's the outcome of the war. Good people, educated people have been killed. Now, my question to the councilor, what legacy? We saw the story of Emmanuel Buya. He was called a walking encyclopedia. He had all these historical data and facts in his head. He attempted to write some down in books. What legacy are you leaving behind? Or have you been grooming our young women into politics, into social life, into ethical, and focusing on their education? You are a learned woman. You are respected or reverend. I mean, you have 7 different distinguished titles. What legacy are you leaving behind for our young people?
The life that I live up to now can speak for me. You didn't even at all. Despite the fact I was for the 2-week party and had to hide on, I left this country the 1st of the 16th of August. Don't worry, I was not with Barker Matthew them, but he came out. He was the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was the Minister of Foreign Affairs. That time, you couldn't, they say before you leave, you will have to get clearance for immigration. You will have to get it from water and sewer and get passport. And I was in the news. In fact, I had led women to go to ban PPP, Progressive Alliance of Liberia. I led the women, and they were not just to go to ban into the legislature. And from there, I walked over to the president in March and said, Mr. Standard Bearer, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, you're supposed to protect this country and our children. People talking about cutting electric wires, breaking bridges. If you cannot control this country with your people, I have brought a battalion of women to help protect our children. And I gave you a copy of the resolution signed by the women from all the counties. We used to just go get a sheet of paper. Teresa Lee Sherman, Christine Norma, Titi Graper, and what is senator whose names are called? Gertrude Dean Thompson from Bombay Hills, Tessina Draper from Sano, or Eva Lewis from Mount Gippy. I can sit right. Cynthia Gaylor from Kitman. I can name the women who are twice my age, who are behind me. Leona Chesson. Those were for the women political social movements. They were the ones who were behind me. I was the little girl in front of them going and getting. These boys were put in jail.
Including Samuel Jackson.
Was Sam Jackson are the youngest, and he sustained 18 years. But to tell you when you say what legacy, I left. After that, I had to face my enemies, purported enemies, to get out, and I was in hiding. They call my husband's name to be judge of one little court, the First Judicial Circuit Court. And we wonder whether they couldn't find me, so that was a bit to get me. So when they call his name on the air, he want history, Emmanuel Shaw, he another survivor. People should not ignore Emmanuel Shaw. People like Sam Jackson, they just born with special gift, wit, and it just there. They know, they sabi. And you get those people behind you, they know the trick or the trade because they've been there long. So when they call my name, and I'm still in hiding, but we knew Emmanuel Shaw then was then to do, blowing his hair off, showing how to dress. You are one of those who are with do them.
Getting him to be like a real president.
Yes. We went to the late Charles Guillaume father. I think his name was Charles Guillaume. He was saying on time. And my husband went to him. He said, these people want to give me a job. Do you think they're trying to get me to come there to get Pearl? He said, well, let's go to Emmanuel Shaw. Shaw now, way up the door there. What people knew that Matthew, there were writing every paper for them that they had lied on. They said, God told they didn't care Tobo. All those things I read, but they were in a bush show. That's why I know told they didn't care. Neither penny them. The CIA has released the document, classified document now, declassify, y'all go read. Now, when he went there,
the declassified the document.
Oh man, that's why I say, reading make a learned man. When you listen, you read, you learn, and you talk. Now these stations where they got now, the radio station, I don't know what they call on the air.
No,
they don't have no journalists.
We will not want to call names.
They don't have journalists. Maybe I see 1 trillion journalists there who I know went to Trinity here. But they don't have journalists and they don't have the professionals who to ask questions. They just talk, just come on, say, care on. They don't know we have lawyers. So what you think and you feel is supposed to be,
that's what you
and now what it is because they got a law. The people who know, because you just take people, they with their party, they with that party. That's why you saw we had a party for 100 years, people together. Because in Africa, with the uneducated people online there, because anything you don't know, you ignorant to it. So I can even add ignorant people. When you say politician, politics, party mean opposition. Opposition mean enemy. So that why you are with one party and you the opposition, when you come, you must not work in government. Who the government? This is Liberia. And I was happy I must sign out the constitution that say the people buy, the people off, the people, and the articles says that Article 1 or 2 says that the government is for the people and the people have a right at all times. When the government don't do what they're supposed to do, get their right, you have a right to go and change it. So
and now, I know with Nathan's question is about legacy.
What the legacy, I want to say, after trying to get out, how to get, he said no. He says, this boy, what they call his Shaw said to him, they really wanted to make him, but tell Pearl to hide, stay lower, go on a cover a little bit, because you know my name was still resounding. They knew the name, this thing. So go on a cover. So for another month, so they came, they told me, and my husband didn't want to take the job. Then, improv is sitting there, you want legacy, but you got to get here straight to know for legacy. But legacy, I still living it there all around. Just go, Pearl Brown Poo. Pearl Brown Poo,
a lot will come out.
You will see me sitting at Pearl Poo. Then I can talk what I do for children today. Let my love, sitting by the chief prosecutor to the what they call our International Criminal Court, chief prosecutor of Yugoslavia, who prosecuted Milosevic to the war crime court. You will see me sitting by him doing podcasts on obstacles to deliver justice. So people who want to go to war crime court, what are some of the obstacles that justice can be done?
And we come into the war crime court issue because there are a lot still trending. So in Liberia, and there are a lot of things that are coming up. You live the Tottenham era, the Doe era, the interim periods of whether it was Pomakpo, Jody Bryant,
Sawyer, my husband, Chief Justice, Elita, Ellie is the leader, Ellie Johnson is the leader. Those are the songs you're saying that brought the mansion we need. The mansion for the people who come in, even know the role we play.
And the transition period between Ellen and Weah, people felt that, Councillor Boo was so quiet. The entire Weah's administration, we did not see Councillor Boo out there like that. Some other people felt, maybe Weah bought her, so she's a Weah woman now, so she's remaining quiet. And there were things that were happening after Weah gave into the elections with just a little over around 20,000 votes, set up Liberia to remain peaceful. Now we are in this dispensation where your work as a commissioner of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, one of those who had a dissenting opinion on what is now out there as a TRC report that called for perpetrators of the war not to participate in our elections in 2017, including Madam Sirleaf and others. They were bad. But yet still
made decision on that aspect. Go read Richelieu Williams versus was it a TRC or who?
So
tell that they can bring it back, and someone can bring it back, and the court can repeal that, because the law, you have the law, the Constitution, the first laws, and opinions of Supreme Court. They are burning until they are repealed.
Just pull your microphone to you a little bit.
Okay, turn it around, so.
Yeah, just bring it towards
But you didn't
a little
tell
bit.
the people I got on.
Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Sure, you can go on talking about that. Sure.
Okay.
So I was just saying with everything. Firstly, do Councillor Pearl Bamboo still stand by those reasons? You know why you descended when your colleague, some of your colleagues felt that this was our resolution, this was what we want for Liberia as report of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. You travel around the world, you took witnesses' testimonies. I remember going across your region as commissioner. I was assigned with you. We follow you all around the place, whether it was a hearing, it was meetings, those and at the end of the day, Councillor Boo said, I'm not in favor of this. Do you still stand by those reasons why you descended in that opinion?
I really don't want to talk about it, but I have to explain to people. I hope y'all can find my dissenting opinion, because that had carried me to Sweden with the 29 TRCs in the world before our TRC, the 29 TRC that they had. I had gone there with my paper. In fact, they all agree with me for that year. My ring was the Christmas card to use, and I got to know all the other leaders. They've been to South Africa, of course, several times, Ethiopia. In fact, I think it was 2014 or so, UNITA made me a transitional justice expert. So I have been going on speaking on reconciliation, arbitration, some of the transitional justice mechanism, because of, and people quote me in the books, you know, all around. I see it on the internet. And in fact, I don't want to be specific, but I know my one of my descent was used for somebody who was in jail for something like that, and he came out. So I remember the lawyers came to Liberia for my TRC descent, and I let them read it. I said, you're not carrying it. I'm not doing anything for nothing. You being paid. People paying you so much. So I'm not here now. So this is the stage I am now. I did things free, but I know my worth. But let me go to tell
so do you
them.
Still stand by those
Nah,
reasons?
You come into it. But this one, I will use my legal, political, constitutional, religious skills in answering this question for the reason why it is. This is, but let the people who talk it to know. If you go to the Accra Comprehensive Peace Accord that was signed August 18, 2003 in Accra, you will see the portion there that they said what should be done. Establishment of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to bring victims and perpetrators together for the time to see the root cause of the war, and to make recommendations for, you know, for the betterment of the country, whatever. Recommendation is different from judgment or ruling. That's the first thing. Look at the words. They said the TRC made their own rules and act. That one was supposed to neck and contract monopoly, election, and citing agencies. They all agree. Don't forget, the international people signed it. But Article 36 of that same Comprehensive Peace Accord, Article 36. Now I'm old, now I'm forgetting, but it states that the head of state shall grant amnesty to anyone who asks for what they did in the war. Besides, on August 7, 2003, when there was a legitimate government that they had election, I think that brought in Mr. Taylor, and who was his man, blah, because somebody died, blah.
Cllr did die.
Cllr, with the Senate and legislature, the two branches of government, where the Supreme Court was never suspended because we still had a Chief Justice. In fact, it states that we should make laws to establishment of the TRC. The TRC, the legislature made a law, and they said that the commissioners shall be appointed like associate justice of the Supreme Court. So to you out there who don't know, the chief justice and associate justices of the Supreme Court under the Constitution of Liberia, 1986 Constitution, of which I'm one of the signees, only 3 women to 56 men, states that the Chief Justice and associate justices can only be removed by impeachment for cause. Impeachment
for cause.
For cause. So listen to this. Now, if we were consider associate justices our rank, you go back to the rules of the Supreme Court of Liberia. The Supreme Court rule, and I have been a practicing lawyer for 44 years. Yeah, and 44 years, when you check it, since 42, and I entered the bar 1982, so that's 42 years. Practicing actively to the extent that I serve as chairman of the Grievance and Ethics Committee after being a member on that committee under the late Clarence Simpson, who has served as Associate Justice, Minister of Justice, and the rest of it, that investigate lawyers for their professional unethical conduct. By virtue, I serve as secretary of the Judicial Commission that investigate associate justice, judges, and magistrates. So with that background, I knew the rules of Supreme Court says that you have 5 justices. To get an opinion must be either could be by all unanimous concurring, or it must be majority, at least 3, to make any law, any decision, opinion, law, ruling in a case. So you have 5 justices. If 2 dissent, that law, that ruling that they made, whether they're right or they're wrong, that will be the ruling that will stand, the decision, the ruling in that case, until another case is brought before them, and maybe with the same action or whatever facts or ruling, evidence, and they can recall that decision. So that dissenting opinion that was made by either one of the judge or sometimes one judge dissent. And you can dissent, just say, I dissent. Or even making a ruling, give a reason, don't sign. So that means, despite the fact that we were, I think, 8, and 2 dissented, the majority, whether right or wrong, that is the opinion and the ruling and decision of the commissioners whose portfolio and status were equivalent to associate justice of the Supreme Court. And our dissenting opinion is dissent. But that's why I say you can read it, and later it can be changed and somebody else bring it, and that opinion is revoked and revised. Now, the TRC report, we had 22,000 statements, and we say that you come and say my mom was killed, and they took it. The 22,000 statements, We had investigators. That what they think is a long haul. Investigators who went out. Cyrus, you gave your statement. They will write it down with questions. They ask questions. And even you tell your story, they ask questions. One point there, what do you want? Do you want prosecution? Because you got to say who or the person did or which group. You can call it a group or a name. Because some people, you know who did it to them, but they know what group.
What group they were a part of.
Do you want prosecution? Do you want forgive? They put there. Do you want what, like restitution? Do you want this trust fund? Reparation? Do you want trust? Do you want us to do institutional thing like build hospital, make progress, change this thing? It was there. When you say finish, if you couldn't write, they had an ink, they put a thumb there, and that only thumb they will have witness. When that investigator, and we have very good people, I will say in this, when they brought it, you don't just take it. You have other people to go and recheck to verify.
And you did that with all those 22,000 statements.
22 statements were taken. I'm telling you, go check it. And everything was done openly, notoriously. 22,000 statements. We opened the TRC and we were not appointed. They're not Ellen or because Judy Breyer was there. I got my appointment October 15, 2005. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf became president inaugurated 2006. Right?
Yep.
Okay, so let you clear up because plenty of y'all don't read. But Judy Bryan just didn't point us out. Because what Judy Bryan alone, I wouldn't have gotten there. I was then the lawyer for his wife, and you know how toxic it was, that relationship, and I was the lawyer. If you go and look again on our comprehensive thing there, they said, and TRC people who appointed us, civil society, political parties, then we have
religious community,
religious community, and ECOWAS, and you know, I think European community needs the people who appointed us, so that maybe there were more than 500 people who could have applied. So what happened? I didn't apply. The different committee and groups recommended me. Bar Association, National Bar Association, Association of Female Lawyers, and some of those civil society groups. That time, they had so many handbag ones, we all were all around that time for small money.
Handbag civil society groups.
So we were elected, and they cited us, they interviewed us, and shortlisted. Maybe they sent 7 or whoever to Judy Bryan. And that's how we're put there. Okay.
So now, so with all of your work,
with all that I'm saying to you, the public must know of those 22,000 statements, the commissioners were divided, had oversight based on their skill, their qualifications, their quality, and their knowledge of the subject matter. Pearl Brown Bull was appointed to head by, I think who made the appointment, maybe the chairman, I don't know how they play, but Maserado County and Mount Gibby. For I was headed for historical review over history. I challenge plenty of y'all besides Booyah, old man Don, and so who know history. Because I started with the people, a judicial review also. And I was on the economic crime group, but I resigned from there. And the women group, they had a women thing. They put me on the economy. I resigned for cause, right there. After what I saw what going on, what I didn't like, I resigned. Because if you're in a position and you know certain things and you don't talk, he who is silent when he should speak assents, you can be held culpable for not seeing anything. So what I didn't like then, just eternally, I moved from there. So we only had from June 22nd, 2006 at the E.J. Roy, not E.J. Roy, Centennial Pavilion, and it was live. So all the people who just come and say, and walk around code this is somebody that it was live this year. We only took 800 statements from the 22,000.
What from abroad, from locally?
From abroad, locally, and I told you we even came to
Minnesota.
We even had it in Nigeria. I went even all to Nigeria, and they had us oversight over to Nigeria. We had TRC thing, and if I'm not mistaken, went to Ghana, but I remember me being in the Bushuburu camp. Yeah, I went there too. So all over, and we went to every county. That's when I went to Grand Crew. That's why I went to River G. That's when we went to Maryland. 18 hours on the road. Sano. Everywhere we went. So no county. The 15 counties were left out. And the same way with the, what you call this thing, the 22,000 statements. So my people, we only take 800. So y'all, what happened to those?
Why you decided 800 and that?
Listen, because of time frame. The act, this is what we say we got law. The act gave us from the 26th of June 2006 for 3 years. In fact, we did not finish within that time. We had to go back because this one, if you have a law and act, when the legislature says something, you can't go order it. We had to go back to the legislature, give them calls, and ask for additional time, and they gave us June 30, 2009. That's when the legislature get it. Let's go check it out to be able to put in
the recommendations.
That's why the record will show on June 30, 2009. Our draft was made. Well, I know that was the draft because I went to sit there and I sat right to the table with the rest of them and was typing, crying. I said, oh, my forefathers, but I have to do what I'm supposed to do according to my conscience and according to the law where I know the Constitution I signed in the law. Everybody there, you know, they got their own profession and they understand it their way. Because even on the bench, and you got 5 people, all of them don't agree. So I carry my descent, be a chic, carry my descent copy to the president of Liberia, sign, and they sign for it. The speaker of the house, that time was Tyler, they sign for it. The president pro tem, I think that time was Cllr Watterson. Their copies, and I got copy because why? They said June 30, 2009. That was the extension they gave. And I dissented, and I gave my reason. The TRC have got maybe more than 100 or more recommendations. I only dissented on 2.
And what were those 2?
So that means I agree with the other ticket. Not only did I dissent on the 2, but I gave my reasons. I gave my reasons on legal grounds, legal reasons. But still, I still say here, the report of the TRC that was signed by majority is the report. And I even said it, the UNUS all along, I went all over, people were all over the world, to every school, everywhere. I said, nobody can do anything, no president. They were supposed to report every 3 months how they implemented the recommendations of the TRC. And the Independent Human Rights Commission was formed. It's the same thing. It was the Independent Human Rights Commission was formed by civil society recommendation to the Chief Justice. And the Chief Justice sent it to the President. Do you know, despite the fact of my dissent and what, when civil society recommended for the establishment of the Independent Human Rights Commission, who was the chairman? They elected Pearl Brown Boo
as chair.
And I had to send my name forward. So I chair for the establishment, and recommendation for who to sit on the Independent Human Rights Commission to carry on the work, unfulfilled work of the TRC. That was the mandate. Go read it, the Independent Human Rights Commission Act.
No.
So what the question, it is centered on prosecution and lustration.
Okay.
Out of the two, and I gave my reasons. So y'all, if y'all read it, dissent, of course, you know, I could stand my ground. People didn't like it, but I have to live with it.
So you thought in your minds prosecution was not the way forward.
No, not the way forward. I said, in view of the Constitution, Article 97 of the Constitution says that all act done from 1979 to 1980 went to time to 86, 85, or 86. Criminally, civilly, taking people land. And you know, they took people land and money all. They should be giving amnesty. Amnesty. If the record will show, because we took minutes when the Constitution Advisory Assembly, we took minutes, and our co-chair on rules, Peter was chair, and they put him because Nima was the highest. So everything we changed, we did, it was written. And the rationale for changing it, these people that chat talk, they got a book, the rationale. Why everything they don't even ask people. But anyway, if they took the minutes, they will see I objected to that portion for the same thing. Majority rule.
Again.
Y'all must know, y'all was sitting there, y'all did this, y'all did that. The president, y'all know that democracy we got, majority rule. Whether they right or wrong, majority. So listen, they say that, and not only that, it was not passed by legislature or us. They went to the counties, although were representing the
different counties.
We were elected. Though then they didn't appoint us. Let me let y'all know again. For each county we were elected.
To the Constitution Committee.
On the Constitution Committee. Sawyer then were appointed by Doe. After they wrote that stuff, Doe then went and put us there. We were elected by the people. Maserado had 9 to City Hall. I came from District Broadway, that era. And we came to City Hall, all the different precinct district. And on the first round, they nominated Pearl Brown Boo. I got up and nominated Rush for weeks. Y'all must know your limitation. And who better than y'all know? They said, no, we want Rush for weeks. I said, Rush for weeks or president or LU. Rush for weeks or foreign minister. Rush for weeks, one of those who went when we sued Southwest Africa.
Mm-hmm.
To based on some to the here, y'all just taking for India National Court, y'all even know Liberia sue, Ethiopia sue Southwest Africa for the liberation of Mozambique, Zimbabwe. Y'all know that did.
And Rashford was the one that represented Liberia.
I said the man is smart. So he was my thing. They put him there. I see the group of there that Congo thing. That's a Congo man. I left it. When they call my name, I say I decline. We had, I think, 9 rounds because for 9 people. They pointed Achi Buna. Achi could have been for 25-year-old and young boy. Achi now upon what he was the legal counsel. Achi's son, he was the secretary for the Constitution. Go look at young boy. They nominated Achi on our first group. The second group, somebody got up, nominated Purple, I nominated Weeks. Time they nominated. I nominated with the nominate me. I said decline. I went on declining. They will come. All the new town people wanted me. I said, they said, but Councillor, why you doing that? You decline me. We want you there. I said, y'all put my people me in there first. And y'all put him there because he know more than me. Then I will go. But if y'all put him there, I can't go there. That means when the people talking now, we say, you know, that I was supposed to be good friend, but I think it my head. So on the last round, on the 8th round, I nominated Weeks. Then they passed him. So you see, I tell y'all, Where you see in the public here, the what go on your, you know, when they put in the 80, they nominated in the 9th round. When somebody can nominate me with who or the other people, then I won. So that's why I represented Masara County. I was not picked.
You were not appointed?
I was not appointed. Then I would tell you all again, because I forgot one of my positions. I was a member of the, what they call INA, Interim National Assembly, with the PRC board went to resolve the PRC. Yeah, no board who ever, you know, for the PRC board, the one who we were there, then he dissolved that day. Then he appointed some civilians,
including Pearl Brown Board.
No, I can tell you, he appointed me for, they appointed me now Monday. And yes, Clement, and what he need Charles Wayon, the one who told me Monday, I will tell you why. Say, Cousin Pearl, we just coming from the mansion, to call us, and they have appointed you as the 59 member. He did it on Saturday. They politics everywhere. They told him don't put me there because I talk too much. I get a hard time. And you know, so, but at great, and they see later in years told me why I was not. Then I said, no, Camp Johnson Road, Kwame Clement is living. I mean, I said, I don't want it. I don't want it. I start crying. And you know, to say to go there. But my mother was a praying woman. And she told me, she said, go, God got you there for a purpose. You will leave. You got to know history. Because when people talk, you ask my legacy, I can show you what we did. So they put it there. So then they had referendum for the Constitution. It had to go to the political subdivisions of Liberia to ask the people to put it to vote. So the people of Liberia,
where they won to referendum if the Constitution will pass. And that act was inside it. That's the time they had in our Constitution to 10 years because they didn't want Parker Mafia and Ellen Johnson then to run. All kind of things in our Constitution. They put there say you're supposed to elect your superintendent. You're not doing it. You're into all those things that we even labor in the Constitution.
So
now, Councillor.
So, my friend, you asked me for my legacy.
No, the legacy thing.
7 days were up in our Banga.
Doing what?
So then went there, they didn't want, I will start going. They didn't wrong us to go to civilian rule. Let me let y'all know this today. So although the soil then did it, when soil then put it together to educate people. And y'all women who don't be talking right here, women, y'all having something, this woman, what someone there had done. That school teacher, Mrs. Wilson, she was that woman on that soil then committee. You know, hear and talk for her when they put it up women or Liberia. You don't see them put picture of with Sandy Manning or Elizabeth Collins or Jesse. No, turn the women there in position to wife and Jesse as Lakers to start going, making them something big. But anyway, so they put it there. So in view of that act that had never been repealed from 1986, we are now to 2006, right? He repealed, we've been having President Jesse that he didn't repeal that act or the Constitution to referendum 97. So it stayed there. In view of that law. So I felt that if you put anybody in there for who were involved from 79 to and the rest of all those people, in light of that action, that act, 97 of the Constitution, I feel that I could not sign to say that Doe and all her group of people should go to what do you call it, war crime court.
So what happens? What happens after everything? We saw what happened during the
okay, that Doe that time. Let me tell you the next one. There are 2 points. The second one, 2003, August 7. The legislature passed an act in the legislature that said anything that was done from December 24, 1989 to August 2003 by say a war group, any group that killed, that looted, that do this thing, they must have general amnesty, that they should not be prosecuted civilly or criminally. It was not only, it was signed by every member in the House of Representatives and the Senate. And according to the law in this country, when the Senate and the legislature makes and the House of Representatives makes a law, you send it to the president, and they got X number of time for him to sign it or veto it. If he does, he veto it, you come on back and you go back to see you can get 2/3 to override that veto. It was on the 7th, on the 8th. The President, Charles Gange Taylor, signed it with an agriculture act. There was 2 bills that was signed. Some people pertaining to agriculture, let them check it. And this, Akio gave me a mistake. He signed it on the 8th. The legislature then also enacted it, and it was printed
into handbill.
Handbill. That's when the law become law. So when legislature do something and you go with a procedure, it was printed in the print bill. You understand? So if you of that, that was although everybody's claiming fame for signing for the warlord to sign that paper. If you of that, that was the warlord people, and all those people could go there, they down there in Ghana there, and you understand Ghana, or everybody who get on a trip with it. They signed it, warlord people for government, and the international people, witnesses, political party, witnesses, find it,
the comprehensive
piece of code. Then Article 36. In that comprehensive piece of code, before the kids start dividing posts, like monkey was dividing banana or gorilla dividing color. They put their Article 36. Say anybody can add his aid or stay for amnesty. And they can be granted. Now, I'm a lawyer. Other people on the commission, some are housewives, some are religious people, some are electricians, some were
journalists,
were journalists, some were aid worker for aid worker. So, and we had another lawyer there. So I look at in view of this. When I put Brown Bull, 1982, January 7, put up my hands to say that I will uphold and protect the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Liberia. So help me God to become a member of the Bar Association. In my oath, that has said, that's what I was looking at the law before me. Then secondly, they had a lustration, LUSTRATRO, illustration, banning citing people for 30 years from public office.
Including Madam Sirleaf.
Well, I know, yeah, honey, was there too, but I just say, I was not looking at the individuals. I was looking at the substantive law. I went and I did my research. I did not find no law in our jurisdiction within our bailiwick for lustration to ban anyone from public office. That's number one. Then I look to a statute that says if you cannot find a law in Liberia or case law, because Supreme Court can make decision, you go to the common law of America and England. That we have am Jews and we have corpus juris. I went to the common laws of America
and England,
and I did not find lustration to ban people. So, in view of the fact that our law did not call for that, and the act forbidding this thing, I say, based on this, I cannot affix my signature to this in view of this. And what I did in the law, what I said, I quoted Article 97,
Mm-hmm.
and I quoted the law. That one that I just say verbatim, and I to my attach the signature of every legislature who signed it to say, here bill. And when they said it was not so, I said, they can't lawyer. Y'all let's check. We talked to our last meeting. So they said there's no law. I said, Mr. Chairman, Secretary, you're right. The foreign ministry, the archives, they're supposed to keep all public documents, whether or not that law was not there. But you might have friends, you let your work speak for you. People thought they had hidden it.
They hate the law.
Some of y'all know who international, who this or that, who gave money, who took money. But guess what? They were shocked when I law. So then I told them to write because there was no law. I said that law. They said that law. I said, oh, they're right. When they wrote, was sitting there. They had sent a letter to our banking king Akareli, who was the
foreign minister,
and Corporal Colley, Councilor Corporal Colley, she was the legal counsel to the legal section. Banking king, there the Senate, the law. Now when they say there's a law, yeah, they say there's a law. I think they even send the copy. So when we came in the meeting to cut decide, I said the law. Yeah, I said, Mr. Executive Secretary, you wrote to the foreign ministry what they say. You want to? I just took out one copy of the law. I said, yeah, the letter they wrote you. They wrote us here. Yeah, it said, telling us. And I said, and you say you're smart here. Security also is part of my
training and
the people who supposed to know my security background know it. I taught management and supervision in law enforcement and criminal evidence to one of the schools in America, your well-known school in America. The people who came to my class, they came in blue uniform and they gone to their pocket. So if I didn't know it, you understand. And there are Liberians who are invited to my class, they didn't know. So I know that. So I said to him, I said, hey, you're smart. Yeah, the copy I got you. Because write all your text.
There is
I was able to flip a copy. From where he desk, your table, I got it. I say, yeah.
Oh, the chairman.
No, to the executive director. The executive director now is the chairman for the dean of cabinet. You know, Kwabo. And what he needs, Kofi Woods was then chairman of the board of the Minnesota Human Rights Advocate. Right here in Minnesota, when we came here, that's also white people, but he was the chairman.
Okay.
And you know, Kofi Woods, who is now what chairman or security advisor.
Security advisor to
President Barker. So to my TRC team, we're coming up, everybody strategically.
So we almost out of time, Councilor.
So you see that, eh?
Yeah. So let's wrap up with this whole war crimes code thing. You already touched a little bit on why, these laws that are there preventing people from being prosecuted. But yet and still, just this week, the Senate concurred with the House in this resolution, even signed by Senator Prince Johnson, who, when they say war crimes code, everybody think is quote unquote about him. He signed it, even though with his own disagreement at all. But the setting up of the war crimes code, if it will ever happen, in your own legal mind, what procedure is the issue of resolution, executive order from the president? Now the questions are popping up. Okay, the president signed this, and probably there's an executive order. Where do we go? Who sets up a code? Where do we go?
Sir, all those things.
Use the microphone, Councilor, please.
All those things, people need to do research, and the answers are right before their eyes, just as I'm looking in your TV here. They have people who know, people who willing. They just got to ask them and take the right people. I say the legislature did what they were supposed to do according to the TRC Act, that you're supposed to send it to the legislature because the recommendations. So the legislature is supposed to know to do what they work. You're supposed to make we have made recommendations. And you're supposed to make resolution, or you're supposed to make law, or you're supposed to go to procedure, it's there. So whether if they were right, they were wrong, they will get consultant. But I just want y'all to know,
what?
You have competent Liberians to get people who looking for a job. PR, y'all got people who know that we are serving country. When the legislature do what they're supposed to do, go to the president, he must do what he's supposed to do, and get the people, look at the laws, so got the book. The law say the Supreme Court are the highest court. Constitution says so. So if you want any other court, yeah, you got to go for, you can't just change it by law, now you got to go. Anything in our Constitution, go for amendment. There's another part that says only people of Negro descent can practice law. So when you want any party here, this is when you talk about special court, look in the Constitution or wherever who make courts. Go read the law on that. You understand?
So do you think another way around?
And not only that, I want to tell you again, read the TRC report. And I still say it was the majority. I always stand by the ruling of a court opinion until it's somebody carry to court and they won't revise it or whatever it is. So they should read it and see whether or not people of Negro descent can practice law. There was reason for all these things. I just will close. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all read, because they cannot change history. Y'all don't know. The Declaration of Independence said, I want to remind you, I said it when I was in the junior class and that 12th grade junior class. By heart, in the same Zion Grove Baptist Church, we used to learn those things by heart. So y'all can change Constitution, y'all can change it, but y'all can't change the Declaration of Independence. It said, in some part of that country, we were deprived by all rights and privileges of men. Strangers of a color, different from ours, were preferred before us. We utter our complaints, but they were unattended to. So when they call up our parents, we went back there, and they were reasoning those people put what they put and did what they did. So if y'all won't come now, well, Firestone there doing this because people thought that it would be the plantation, there would be like black people can rule themselves. And after 100 and so many years, y'all say Chewy Party rule for 100 years. But guess what? Y'all met something. It left something for y'all. Our people left future generation. And I did my part. So if y'all won't come now, can get the strangers from other land who did not prefer, who color was different from ours, to come over us, I'd be damned, God by damn. I will not accept that. So I just want y'all to think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Liberian citizens, you're in higher authority. God gave us this land. Think about it. What we need now. We are one people, united under God. And as look at the TRC report and see what the people, the victims from the counties, what they said, each county, whether you want prosecution or you want forgiveness, and what else do you want? See the percentage. See what they said. Because when the people say our people, the victims spoke. And please, like Constitution, this government is for the people, by the people, and of the people. So your one vote that they gave you, and first you couldn't vote, but they changed everything now. Everybody
have the right to vote.
Yeah.
So with this, is it a no to a war crime code from Councilor Boo?
No, I didn't say no. I told you I will use my legal thing, and I told you politically, I told you we dissented for majority rule.
So with the majority
so when
rule,
the majority ruling, and they told you go to the legislature, look at our recommendation one by one. They all go from the first page to the second because I saw something say Councillor Boo and Waheni, the man, they didn't make no report, they dissented, we know what. And I want to tell you, they never gave me copy of the TRC report. I never saw it until when I was going to Wilton Park, when I was invited. You see me sitting there by the chief prosecutor to the head for Milosevic and the judge who prosecuted him, Paul Cass, and I could stand there. Steve Rapp was there, and the Undersecretary of State for Human Rights, I was not a woman here to the UN. You see they're standing over me. I pick up there. When I spoke and gave the reason for obstacle for delivering justice on the same thing, Liberia was a signer, original signer of the United Nations Charter. Richard Hamlin, one of those who went to the poll, he signed also for Liberia. We paid our dues. So when they, and also we sent troops 1960 to Congo. Kofa Power when Wafra Watson when Raymond only who ran in Virginia, he lived, he went. So we pay our dues. So they keep here, they brought people 50 people here, and they go back. We must stand our grounds.
And what's the
another one? Please check.
What's the ground? What's the ground you want us to stand, Councillor?
Please check.
When you say stand our ground, what's
please check. Like America is not a member of the International War Criminal Court. They did not sign the Rome Statute. Great Britain, not a member. They didn't sign the Rome Statute for the Criminal Court. France is not a member. They didn't sign. That means they can't go before International Criminal War Crime Court. Neither any of the people. I want to say to you, that's what I said to them there. We don't make guns. We don't make bombs. We were under sanction. We couldn't eat. They killed us before those people. Who brought the guns? Who brought it for Dudu the Pupu? Who have to kill our people? And do y'all know something? Y'all may not know this. And I say obstacle. Some international members of the UN signed bilateral agreement with warring countries that their name and those who participated in the war, their names will not be called. So our justice is for all, equality for all.
So now it is unbalanced. People watching saying that you are not giving your direct answer to whether a war crimes code for Liberia as a way forward or not. They still want to hear whether Councillor Boo feels that is the way forward.
Let me tell you something. Some of your English that not your first language, and your top of indigenous and dialect, this is your own, go to your thing. So if you don't understand what I said what I said so you can read between the lines, read my lips. I'm neutral on that. I gave the reason why I did decide. I gave the reason that the recommendation is the recommendation. I gave the reason I been called the legislature to look at everything in there. See whether it conforms with the law and the Constitution. And they will see Prince Johnson was not going to sign. He signed. See, when Liberia signed the Rome Statute, why you think they couldn't bring Charles Taylor to Liberia? Because they came for Sayun. Because what he did couldn't fall. When we ratified the Rome Statute, it was not for what they did. And they said the Rome Statute, go read it. So they said things before the Rome Statute thing there, it's not supposed to be retroactive. So
All right.
it's so many criminal things
let's
there.
go to the next one. A lot
If
of
you want
people.
pe-
Let's
yeah, what
close
is
up.
it?
Let's close up with this.
Wow.
A lot of people feel that Liberia is underdeveloped or been robbed, of her development because our leaders, past and present, are not using the resources for the country's interest. People building in their own name, buying properties out of the country's wealth and all of that. People feel that the issue of the war crimes code should be separated from the economic crimes code. What's your stand on that?
You know what happened? I will stay to the power. I disagree for leaders for development or not development because the government, according to the Constitution, that's why people could read and know the rule. One person, one leader doesn't make up the government.
Mm-hmm.
Just like this thing, one you from one party who win, the other people, they seem Liberian become opposition. They don't want to participate. So the fault is on the people of Liberia. Because one president, he just sat there and he appoints people. The legislature, your representative represent your people. The Senate, they represent the counties. So all they blame all the Liberians because of the people who you put there to talk for your county. Only laws, if they make laws, they're the county development fund, and the people seek their interest fund, but no, you go put people in the legislature who even got hot that they stay hanging over care the people in the water for bunga fish to eat. You get people who rent it. You get people who no book, who can't even read the law. You get legal counsel to be lawyers there for you who know nothing. They say when you got people who qualify, but because you listen to they say and you know that the enemy. So nothing like that. I agree about that.
So you're not in the interest of the economic crimes code as well.
I say I have said what I had to say, and I'm not the only person. I want one person. Y'all know my worth. Y'all know my characteristic, my qualification. You ought to call on me. You see me anything? No.
Have you been called by the broadcast team to lend your support to the new government?
Yeah, whether broadcast call me or anybody call me, what I know I capable of doing.
Will you be willing to?
I'm willing to work in any government. They pay off-rightly or covertly or off-rightly. I don't have to hold opposition because you know what? Anybody sit it down there do something contrary to the law, or when I write, I go to them and tell them in private. And if some of the things that I talk on the radio, and you they invited me here, they carry on KMTV. I knew you from Kings FM 2005 to 2013. That Kings FM, you call it Kings FM. What they call it Kings FM for?
The guy was owned by the king, George Weah.
George Weah was the king.
Yeah.
Because they call him king that time.
And he's
still king because you know what? What he earned, nobody can take it from him. He earned those things. And you see, so that's what it is. You get everybody a road. They see people who want to judge us. The country where they come from, they got more corruption there. From in the legislature, they hate. Let them go see for it. Y'all let the people make food out of y'all. Then they say they coming to show or they will make more money and give us crumbs. We don't eat the crumbs from the table. Our forefathers left those things for us. And the leaders need to correct. We gotta write make petition. We go move there.
All right, that's the point. If they don't lead correctly, we petition and remove them. Councillor Pearl Bamboo, it's been a wonderful, wonderful time having you here on this historic April 12th. We remember and you talk us deeply into 1980, what happened on that day, what you remember. And it's good that we still have you around as a wealth of knowledge. And we will always, thanks for always, accepting. Sometimes we call you on unexpectedly and you're ready to come up and talk to the people. So what would be your final message to Liberians, especially as they reflect on this day? And today is National Fast and Prayer Day in Liberia too.
We were founded on Christian principles. I believe everybody have the right to who they believe their God and to serve and pray. Many times through World War, the German bombarded us who went to Providence Baptist Church, who were saved. I believe in reconciliation because even on the TRC, if you look from counties to counties, the majority of the people, overwhelmingly, over 50% when you add or say they want reconciliation. The TRC said, look at the root cause. We are one man people. Right now, you have alternative. If somebody kill you, somebody, we got a law for murder. If somebody stole from you, you got the thing there for theft for property. We got a laws. And I said here, I was a victim too. They killed my son on that bridge there. And they burned my house. They threw a rocket in my house July 23rd, 1990. Say Cllr was in there because I had a decent house with fence. When I working in government, my husband and I were lawyers. They killed him and Cllr he came to Montreal in 1995. People who they put to the polls, they were my relatives too. But when you look at the overall thing, we don't make guns, we don't make bombs. And if we can't call the name of the people who kill guns or who kill us bombs and who were on sanction were giving other people food, people that were dying before then, they didn't come. Where's the human rights? Where was they were being selective? The 90,000 people who we did not hear their voices to come, we know inside there who are other perpetrators. And the balance of justice in our country, she stands equal. So that, hey, they gave me a job, I will stay there at Notary Public. Our Notary Public talk about that, Dota, Ellington, all my friends, and he made me, the other day I went to open where, and he made me Notary Public. $10, Cllr Boo, you come there, I give you $10 for notary, and some of the people you got it, I give you a free. So I can make my little $10, and people who have heard and helped, they will not let me go hungry. I can walk the street proud.
Councilor Pearl Brown Boo, thanks for coming in. It's good to have you all watching and listening from across Liberia, across the world to KMTV. Nathan Charles was with us, but he had to get off to attend to other pressing issues. And the councilor is enjoying Minnesota on this weekend. She's dressed up in her Liberian shirt, you know, a gift from KMTV to you indeed. And we always like to have you around. A lot of people have been watching and listening, and we hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. From where we sit here in Brooklyn Center, I'd like to wish you guys all of the best and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful rest of the weekend.
And I need no further argument. Your opinion, my opinion. You didn't send me to school. That my mom and pa and my two husbands.
That's prayer, bro, boo, there for you. And you didn't, hey, quickly, you didn't tell her why you call causing prayer. Why everybody calls it?
That's why I know they come here, they come by chance, and the mushrooms. I earned a name from y'all and reporters. Y'all used to see me causing prayer. In week, I come for a weekend. And I say, y'all can take my little money. I made my money, but I spend it on your young people, encouraging y'all, paying school fees, giving food. So when the people here, the radio people can't even pronounce P-E-A-R-L. Pierre Brown Pool.
Not Pearl.
Pierre Brown Pool. My name is Pearl.
And when they say Pearl, they know what Pearl is.
And when you say Pearl, I know. And
where
when
you
say
from.
Cussy Pearl,
you know where they come
Pearl,
from.
I know you're journalists, trained and not join the list.
Thank you, Council. Thank you. And she's a counselor at law, a veteran indeed, a God-fearing person. Constitutional lawyer. One of those who signed the 1986 Constitution.
And practice it.
We carry to this. So I'd like to wish you guys all the best. You could have Councilor Boo for all day, all night. Her energy will just keep coming, and she will not want to leave. But until then, have yourself a wonderful day. We'll see you on Monday when we're back on this network. Bye-bye.
When the issues of Liberia hit the news,
What is it that we, the Liberian people, want?
The Liberian communities in the diasporas are not left out. That's why
Diaspora Talk is back on your screens on KMTV.
Infatti United Party is not cohesive.
Be it social, political, economic, and other issues affecting Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
I did not expect to even make it to Hollywood.
Join Cyrus McGee and Nathan Charles every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on KMTV, Facebook, and YouTube.
I want to be arrested in the midst of my people.
As they discuss the issues blending the voices from Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
The Liberian Business Association in the diaspora should be used as a vehicle for economic development in Liberia because no country can develop without a diaspora impact.
For sponsorship, call cell numbers 612-806-5896, 816-433-3979, or better still, email us at usakmtv@gmail.com. Diaspora Talk. Don't miss out.